Welcome to Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang, your intel in the Philippine markets and the economy. In the headlines, mixed fuel prices will be implemented this week as global prices jump by 3% amid escalating strikes in the Middle East. The first of two tranches of the 85 peso wage hike for Metro Manila workers takes effect on July 19. What impact will this have on employers and employees? We speak with Chair Emeritus of the Employers Confederation of the Philippines, Nina Manggio. And approved investment commitments rise in the first half of the year, reflecting investor confidence in the Philippines. Meralco customers will face higher rates this month, but the power distributor vows no electricity disconnections for unpaid May to July bills. Meralco announced an increase of 34 centavos per kilowatt hour in July. That means households typically consuming up to 500 kilowatt hours will see an additional 171 pesos in their power bill. Meralco spokesman Joe Zaldarriaga said the increase is driven by higher generation charges due to elevated fuel prices. Zaldarriaga assures customers that those with unpaid May to July bills will not face service disconnection. And even beyond July, those with pending billing concerns will not be disconnected while their cases are under investigation. The assurance comes amid a wave of complaints on social media about unusually high power bills. The power hike comes as motorists will have to brace for another increase in pump prices tomorrow, Tuesday. DOE Oil Industry Management Bureau Director Rino Abad tells True FM this morning, diesel will rise within a range of 262 to 462 pesos per liter, kerosene up by 222 to 422 pesos per liter, and gasoline may either be cheaper or more expensive by 1 peso per liter. Meantime, the Energy Regulatory Commission rejected the notion that it is favoring renewable energy over other power generation companies. This comes as ERC raised price ceilings for waste-to-energy auctions to 11 pesos per kilowatt hour and offshore wind to 930 pesos per kilowatt hour. Overseas, the U.S. military has launched more strikes against Iran to degrade its capability to target commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. As a result, global oil prices are up over 3%. Benchmark Brent crude is trading at $78 a barrel, and West Texas Intermediate is sitting at $74 per barrel. Metro Manila's minimum wage earners are set to receive what the Labor Department calls a historic 85 peso daily pay hike, covering more than 1 million workers in the National Capital Region. Under the wage hike order, NCR 27, the increase will be done in two tranches. The first tranche of 60 pesos will be made available on July 19, while the second tranche of 25 pesos will be effective by January 20, 2027. The staggered increase will eventually lift the non-agriculture minimum to around 780 pesos a day, even as labor groups question if it's enough and as employers warn of a potential strain on small businesses and inflation. With us for more, Nina Manggio, the Chair Emeritus of the Employers Confederation of the Philippines umbrella group of employers. Good to see you again, Nina. Welcome back to the program.
Hi, good morning, Ms. Cathy, and good morning to everyone.
So how are ECOPS members preparing for the first tranche on July 19th? That's the biggest of the two-part staggered wage hike.
As you remember, last year we had also this kind of problem. Now, with the 60 being implemented by July 19 again, we're afraid that the MSMEs will be really facing a lot of challenges on this matter. We are trying to address the concern on the manual labor, though we really feel that this is really needed to help our employees, but it will have really a big impact on the prices of all items, I should say, all items, not only food, not only energy, not only commodities, but all. Because as you know, the Philippines is still on a manual labor. So we're encouraging our members, especially the MSMEs, to find ways to improve their operations, like improve their efficiency, conduct more training, look for whatever Dole or the government can extend as far as training and assistance is concerned, because we cannot just keep on increasing prices. Although we feel that in this, especially this 60 pesos initially for July and then another 25 for January, some might really need to increase their prices, which might affect the inflation rate, and those that are not minimum, those that are not uh, gaining from this increase in the minimum wage, like
Right.
the
So there's
farmers.
that effect there, the pass on, and as you mentioned, for all items. But what about those MSMEs? And I know that in our previous conversation, you made a mention of how critical it was for the micro entrepreneurs out there, how critical it would be if indeed a wage hike passed and one is coming through. How many have come to you to say that they might have to close?
Closure really is not the most, or it's not the most afraid impact of this. It's more of increasing prices or and reducing the number of workers by, maximizing the efficiency and usage of the manpower. But the increase in prices, in I think, is inevitable.
And that you could say across the board, whether they're micro, small, medium-sized enterprises, they're all going to pass on the extra cost of 85 pesos?
Especially the MSMEs. We have, unless they really can find ways and means to improve their efficiency, which you cannot just do just like this. And it's becoming a yearly concern. So, and it's becoming a yearly increase to balance. But the MSMEs are
Oh, I think we've lost Nina. We'll get her back
very,
for you.
very efficient, but reducing. Mhm.
Okay, you're cutting in and out, Nina. We'll get you back soon as we establish a better signal. But first, and just to recap, Nina Manjo was just saying there that there is going to be an across-the-board passing on of costs because of the 85 peso wage hike. I just wanted to go back to the original proposal you had, Nina, because we had two issues before the 85 peso wage hike determined by the wage board. There was a proposal to implement legislated wage hikes. Between the legislated wage hikes that have yet to be approved on the BICAM level, to what extent would you say that this might weigh a little less of a problem because it's 85 and not 100 or 200, because that was where the legislated wage hike was heading towards?
This labor increase is properly deliberated and studied. You know very well that there was a request for 200, and then we recommended for, I think, 50. ECOP recommended for 50, but the government thought that 50 may not be enough, and 200 is too high, so they came up with 85. This regulated wage, I think, is better than just listening to what is needed, because we cannot higher increase really is needed, but we balance as to how much the industry or the entrepreneurs can afford without really affecting the inflation or with the minimum inflation.
But as it is, you're saying now that a lot of the members of ECOP say that they're going to pass on the cost of 85. So at what level would have been a more proper wage hike, if you will, that might have been a case where they could have avoided passing on
If you
all
would
of the
study
costs
the
to
impact of
consumers?
this one, it will only bring in a very small part or point. Looking at it, maybe it will just be about zero point 0.3 points, or we are not very sure yet because they're not, I mean, the reaction is not as we are anticipating. The MSMEs are still trying to find ways to really efficiency and have a minimum increase in prices. Right now, we have no idea yet as to how much, but it will not be that big as we are looking at the first of the negotiation.
Well, would giving you more time, the MSME's time, work out? Because we're receiving reports that the first tranche might be delayed to July 25. What are you hearing on the ground, and what can you confirm?
You know, if they can delay it a little further, para the MSMEs can find ways and can really study the impact, I think that would give us courage. And so this one might be studied, but be needed if we can find ways on working out whatever is really necessary to address the concern.
Would that also mean having to delay the second tranche of 20 pesos? That one is designated to be given out by January
January.
2027.
We're just hoping that by next year, for example, in May or June, again, there will be no another increase because it's becoming a yearly concern. It's supposed to be every. Remember, last year we had already the increase. Now we have another increase. So if we're going to implement the 25 by January, what would happen in May or June again? Are they going to request for another increase? It's becoming a chain. If you increase the labor cost, you increase costs as well, especially the food. Because the food, especially agri products and the necessities of the people, you cannot keep on increasing because risk that big.
Just as a final point, Nina, what about the regions? Because the president said some of the regions may have to wait until the fourth quarter this year before their respective wage boards decide on the proposed wage increases. So how are employers preparing for the regional wage hikes?
The regions kasi some had the last year labor increase was implemented a little later because there were studies being done and so forth and so on. So moving the regional increase backward might be really necessary. Because you remember, Metro Manila has the highest, and then they have their own pay grade increase and escalations. But Metro Manila is the area that is mostly affected. The increase for the region is not that high as the impact to the region is not as high as we are implement or anticipating it in Metro Manila.
All right, we'll leave it there then and continue to keep us up to speed on the negotiations, Nina. Much appreciate the updates. Nina Mangio of ECOP. In other news, the Board of Investments approved nearly 462 billion pesos worth of projects in the first half of 2026, driven largely by renewable energy and real estate. The agency said investment approvals rose 21% from the previous year. A total of 124 projects were approved as of end June, with an estimated 14,400 jobs to be created. The pledges have already reached 46% of the BOI's 1 trillion peso investment target for the year. Renewable energy accounted for the largest share of approved investments, followed by real estate, transport, mining, tourism, and manufacturing. The Trade Department said the growth reflects sustained investor confidence despite global uncertainties. Meantime, more Filipinos are setting aside money for retirement. Data from the Bangko Sentral showed contributions to personal equity and retirement account, or PERA, rose more than 45% to 758 million pesos as of end June. The number of contributors also surged nearly fivefold to more than 30,000, led by an increase in self-employed Filipinos. You're watching Money Talks. Coming up, it's day 4 of Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial this afternoon. We'll get the latest from our mobile journalist, Arles de los Santos. Pangilinan is giving young learners an inspiring space to grow. Keep it here on One News. Hi, Arles. Good to see you. Cathy here.
Hello po, good morning
Not used to
po.
seeing you in a suit, but you look good.
Yes, thank
All
you po.
right. I'll be with you shortly. Thank you. Welcome back to Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang. Week 2 of Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial begins this afternoon with another witness set to take the stand. Our mobile journalist, Arles de los Santos, joins us live from the Senate. Good to see you, Arles. So what can we expect from today's proceedings?
Yes, Kathy, we're expecting to see what the prosecution and the defense would be doing, or actions and plans of strategy for the second week of the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. Well, this week, Kathy, for the second week, we're still expecting to see discussions, arguments, and witnesses and evidences from from the prosecution side regarding Article 4, or the alleged assassination plot and grave threats of Vice President Sara Duterte to President Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza Marcos, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Today, Kathy, this week, Kathy, we are expected to see 2 witnesses from the prosecution. Namely, first is the NBA agent, supervising agent Jeremy Lotok, who is alleged and expected to corroborate the initial testimony and cross-examination of a senior NBA agent of the National Bureau of Investigation, John Mark Calilong. And aside from that, Kathy, tomorrow, Tuesday, we are expecting to see the Chief of Staff of the Office of the Vice President, Zuleika Lopez, who was initially here on the past week to discuss administrative matters for the Office of the Vice President. And right now, Kathy, there are staff from the OVP media in the defense holding room, and we asked them what are their plans for today, and they are just expected to televise the upcoming and possibly 1 p.m. press briefer of the defense team led by attorney Michael Powa from the defense side.
Indeed. We'll be monitoring at 1 p.m. Philippine time. Thank you so much for the update, mobile journalist Arles de los Santos. And a quick check on the Philippine peso and see how that's opened. This Monday, it is weaker, 61.61 to the dollar. The peso strengthened last Friday by 9 centavos to close at 61.515 against the greenback. Traders say the peso may continue to see volatility as markets monitor developments in the Middle East. Checking in on the markets overseas, U.S. stock futures fall as traders weigh the latest developments in the Middle East. The Nasdaq slides nearly 0.4%. Both the Dow and the S&P decline 0.2%. Asian markets, a mixed bag this Monday. Japan's Nikkei 225 up nearly a third of 1%. South Korea's Kospi falls nearly half of 1%. And Australia's ASX 200 slides about 0.1%. Wall Street edged higher last Friday after South Korean chipmaker SK Hynix made its stock market debut. The S&P climbed 0.4%. Both the Dow and the Nasdaq rose nearly a third of 1%. SK Hynix's American depositary receipts rose 13% in their first trading day at the Nasdaq, a sign of resilient investor enthusiasm over AI despite pullbacks in recent days. SK Hynix raised $26.5 billion in its ADR sale, the highest share sale for a non-U.S. company. It plans to build new factories from the proceeds. And the stock market here is expected to move sideways this week, with investors awaiting for major catalysts to sustain its rally. On Friday, the benchmark PSEI climbed 1% to close at 6,286. Week on week, the local bourse rose 1.6%. While the market has been an upward trajectory for 2 weeks now, trading remains thin with value turnover averaging 5.55 billion pesos. Japheth Tantiangco of PhilStocks Financial says this implies that the recent rally is not backed by strong conviction, with downward risks still seen for the PSEI. He warns that renewed tensions in the Middle East may lift oil prices and eventually weigh on the stock market. 10-year government bond yields ticked up to 7.263%. And here are the latest developments on the corporate front. The Court of Tax Appeals has ordered the BIR to refund or issue Petron a tax credit worth 45.39 million pesos. The court ruled that alkylate, the component used in gasoline production, is not subject to excise tax. AC Health is pursuing more hospital acquisitions with at least one deal targeted for announcement within the year. The Ayala-led healthcare group also plans to open 3 to 5 clinics annually over the next 3 to 5 years. And Smart has secured GSMA Open Gateway certification for its SmartSafe Roam Status anti-fraud solution. The technology allows businesses to check if a customer's phone is roaming abroad, helping flag suspicious transactions. Meantime, commuters on LRT2 can now pay for their fares using Visa or MasterCard debit, credit, or prepaid cards, as well as near-field communication or NFC-enabled mobile wallets and GCash QR. The new cashless payment system was launched by RCBC in partnership with the LRTA, the Transportation Department, and Visa. It is the country's first rail-based fare collection system to combine open-loop card payments, mobile NFC, and QR payments on a single platform. The system allows commuters to pay using participating bank cards and e-wallets, eliminating the need for a dedicated transit card. Transport Authority said the upgrade is expected to streamline fare collection and improve the daily commute for the more than 58 million passengers who use LTR2 each year. And on a much lighter note, TV5 Chairman Manuel V. Pangilinan celebrated his birthday during the formal launch of the expanded music program Vibe Plus over the weekend. Actor Enrique Hill led the special birthday tribute, while San Miguel Corporation President and Chief Executive Officer Ramon S. Ang also attended the event. Ang's appearance fueled fresh speculation that he and Pangilinan may be involved in a possible investment or takeover deal involving ABS-CBN. However, there has been no official confirmation from ABS-CBN, TV5, Pangilinan, or Ang. What is confirmed is that the growing content partnership among local networks with select TV5 programs expected to air on ABS-CBN platforms, while shows from both networks are also being carried on All TV. And Pangilinan marks his birthday by returning to his roots and giving young learners in San Juan City a more inspiring space to grow. Our mobile journalist Denise Valdez-Sancho reports.
For many, a birthday is a time to celebrate. But for business leader Manny V. Pangilinan, it is also an opportunity to give back. This year, the MVP group of companies, together with the PLDT Smart Foundation, returned to San Juan City, where Pangilinan spent his childhood, to turn a child development center into a more inspiring space for young learners. This celebration brought together volunteers, partners, and the community for a day of creativity and giving, featuring a community mural painting, storytelling sessions with the children, and the turnover of learning support items to help create a more inspiring space for young learners.
So this year we want to go back to the roots of his where he was born, actually in San Juan, where he grew up, and where extraordinary became extraordinary. And so we're here. We chose a daycare center here in San Juan City, where we can inspire the kids through a mural painting of the classroom with inspired by the Extraordinary Manny storybook.
More than a birthday tribute, the activity reflects a long-standing commitment to invest in young Filipinos through education, community development, and volunteerism. For San Juan City, the initiative also carries a deeper meaning, honoring one of its own by helping shape the next generation.
Kanina nga po sa aking mensahe, binanggit ko na ang Sanmag po talaga ay nagbibigay ng napakalaking importansya sa edukasyon ng ating kabataan. At ang tinutulungan po ngayon ng MVP group of companies, lahat ng mga foundations po, group of companies po ni Mr. Pangilinan, ang mga tinutulungan po nila ng ating kabataan. Para sa akin po, sila ang magiging kinabukasan ng ating bansa. So as we support them, as we help educate them, we are developing our future leaders.
For Pangilinan, returning to the city where he grew up was a reminder of his roots and of the responsibility to create opportunities for others.
It's a concrete manifestation of a continuing program, part of our foundations and our companies to do social work. She said, give back to the communities that we serve. It's part and parcel of their work, part and parcel of his purpose. I hope not only one, but more than one of them become extraordinary citizens, extraordinary Filipinos. We need many more.
Mobile journalist Denise Valdesancho. We are One News.
And that is it for Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang. Catch us again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Kapatid, we are One News. Your side all the time. Morning Matters returns at 9:30 a.m. Have a great day ahead.